As you may recall, on Monday, July 29th, I spoke to the public in this media gallery following the tragic death of Sami Yatim. At that time, I acknowledged the very serious concerns that the family of the deceased and the public have, and I gave my assurance to all of the citizens of Toronto of our unwavering commitment to get the answers that they seek. Today, I would like to update you on what I and the Toronto Police Service are doing in an effort to get those answers. The SIU's investigation remains a priority over all other inquiries. The law is quite clear in preventing me from disclosing any information on the incident or the investigation. This is intended to maintain the integrity of the investigation, and I will continue to uphold the law. We will continue to fully cooperate with the SIU. In addition to the SIU's mandate, the Police Services Act, under Section 11, requires that the Chief of Police must also cause an investigation to take place, subject to the SIU's lead role in their investigation. The purpose of the Chief's Section 11 investigation is to review the policies and services provided by the police service and the conduct of its members. The responsibilities placed upon me under this section of the Police Act are critical to maintaining public confidence in the way in which members of the Toronto Police Service serve and protect the citizens of our city. This review must be objective and thorough, and it must look critically at all aspects of our service, including our policies, our procedures, the training that our members receive, and even the equipment that they use. It must examine best practices employed in other jurisdictions, and it must be done in a way that will instill confidence both among our citizens and for all of the police officers who every day seek to keep our city safe. In recognition of the importance of this review, I have today asked retired Associate Chief Justice of Ontario, the Honourable Dennis O'Connor, QC, to assist the Toronto Police Service and me in examining our use of force and our response to emotionally disturbed persons, to make recommendations regarding the Toronto Police Service's policies, procedure, training, and equipment. And additionally, I have asked the retired justice to conduct an international review of established best practice and to make recommendations that will enable us to improve the quality of our service to the people of Toronto. The conduct of the officers involved in this investigation will be done by our Professional Standards Unit. The Honourable Dennis O'Connor, QC, sat on the Ontario Court of Appeal from 1998 to 2012. He has served as the Associate Chief Justice of Ontario from 2001 until he retired at the end of 2012, and he has also served as a Deputy Judge of the Yukon Supreme Court. Justice O'Connor is particularly well known for the conduct of two very significant public inquiries, the Walkerton inquiry into water quality in that community and the Mahar Arar inquiry conducted in 2004 through 2006. Mr. O'Connor, Justice O'Connor, will have at his disposal all of the work that has been done over many years by the Toronto Police Service experts in the development of our policies, procedures, and training, and he will have all of the resources of the Toronto Police Service at his disposal in the conduct of this important review on our behalf. I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Chief, given that of course, you can't discuss the details of the Sami Yatim investigation, but just given the timing of your announcement, should we be taking this as a comment on the Yatim shooting? Is this as a result of that particular shooting?
In response to any incident in which the SIU mandate is invoked, the Police Services Act of Ontario, Section 11 of the Ontario Regulations, requires the Chief of Police to conduct what is called a Section 11 administrative review. My responsibility under that review, as I have said today, is to look at our policies, our procedures, the training of our officers, and our equipment. We do that in every case in which the SIU mandate is invoked. In this case, there is an SIU investigation going on, and I am required by law to conduct a review into this matter. And I believe that the public concern with respect to this matter and issues arising and concerns about our policies, our procedures, the training of our officers and the equipment that they use requires that I seek the help of Justice O'Connor to conduct for us and assist us in a very thorough, objective review of all of our policies, procedures, training, and equipment in order to ensure that we provide the best possible services to the people of Toronto.
So what's this shooting, apart from previous police-involved shootings, is the public reaction to it? Is that what
Well,
you're saying?
it's not, I think there's a recognition over a number of incidences where there is concern among the public with respect to the use of force and our response to emotionally disturbed persons. And we have worked quite tirelessly over the past decade to improve the quality of our response. You know, we've looked at various procedures, we've looked at our training, we've established a policy framework, we've added new technologies and tools for our officers to use, and we have, I think, developed very, very thorough processes, and there's excellence in our processes in the training we provide to our officers. I know that we've even given opportunity to members of the media to come up to our police college and observe some of the training that our officers received in responding to emotionally disturbed persons and the use of force in order to share with the public, through you, those practices so people have a better understanding with what we do. But as a result of the most recent event and other events that have caused a great deal of public concern, I think my responsibility is to ensure in this instances that we step back and take a very comprehensive review. These reviews are done in every case, but in this case, I want the review to be thorough and objective, and I think that there is tremendous value to be gained by seeking a man of Justice O'Connor's stature and experience to take an outside look at those policies, those procedures, the training our officers receive and the equipment that they use. And I look forward to any recommendations that he can make to us based on his vast experience and the exceptional work that he has done in other types of inquiries where he has added great public value to what the response to and the services that the public receive. I think there's a great opportunity here for us in this case to reach out to Justice O'Connor and to enlist his help in the conduct of this review.
You mentioned that there's an international reach to this review. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, police services around the world are confronted with challenges in dealing with persons who are emotionally disturbed and in the use of force. And I'm quite anxious to take the opportunity to learn from the experience of others. We often do this, by the way. We share best practice experience with other police services in Canada, across North America, in the United Kingdom, in Europe, and in other places of the world. But I think it is an opportune time to ask Justice O'Connor to review some of those best practices and see if that can in any way help him in making recommendations to the Toronto Police Service and helping us improve the quality of our service and response for our citizens.
You're going above and beyond the law requires you to do in this case?
Well, my legal responsibilities under Section 11 are quite explicit. I am required to review this in every case. I am very aware, and I acknowledged on the 29th of July, I acknowledge again today, there's an enormous public concern about the way in which these incidents are responded to. I understand that concern. I share that concern, and I want to ensure that we take as thorough a look at this as possible. And whatever we do, it has to have the confidence of the people of Toronto, and it has to have the confidence of the men and women who serve in our police services, who have to go out every day into the streets of Toronto and respond to these difficult and sometimes dangerous calls. I have a responsibility to both the citizens and to my police officers to ensure that we are absolutely thorough in the conduct of an objective and intense study of all of the ways in which we might be able to improve the policy framework that we operate under, the procedures and directions that we give to our police officers, the training that we provide them with, to give them with the tools and the knowledge and the skills to deal with these very difficult situations, and even with the equipment that we provide them with, less lethal force options that might enable them to resolve these situations safely for everyone involved. And so that's my responsibility. I take it very seriously, and I think there is an opportunity in this instance, at this moment in time, to take that important look. And I think that's my obligation to the citizens of the city. It's my obligation to our officers, and my obligation to the law to conduct that review, and I think this is the most appropriate way to do it.
Have you had any contact with any of these family, and have you updated them about this specific plan and Justice O'Connor's plan?
We have had some conversation with them, but they are well aware of my responsibility to conduct the review, and we'll be having conversations with them. I have not yet spoken to them about this. I have spent a considerable amount of time with retired Associate Chief Justice O'Connor today and working out in terms of reference. And there's still a great deal of work to do and for him to establish the processes and procedures that he'll undertake in order to assist us with this review. But I'm sharing this with you, and I will be sharing it with them. I've notified my board, because one of my responsibilities under Section 11 is to conclude that review and to report to them the findings. And it is actually at their discretion as to whether that report is then made public. And I've advised them today that it would be my very sincere hope that the report of Justice O'Connor in assisting me in this review will in fact be made public, because I think it's very much in the public interest that it be done so.
So there's a chance that that report may not be made public then?
No, I'm very much assured that it will be public. This is very much an issue in the public interest. The people of Toronto, and frankly the people right across Canada, are concerned about these types of incidents. We want to make sure that we're doing everything possible to resolve them safely for our citizens first and foremost, but also resolve them safely for our officers. I believe this is an opportunity to look at every possible way in which we can improve the quality of our service. I think that is an obligation that I have to our citizens, and it's certainly an obligation I have to our officers to provide them with that type of guidance, that type of support in the difficult and sometimes dangerous work that they do. And there is a strong public interest on this issue, and I'm attempting to respond to that public interest and concern. Yes, Roger?
Do you personally have any concerns about this? You talk about the public concerns about it. Any concerns for yourself?
And my responsibility, Roger, is to make sure that my people receive the best direction, the best training, the best equipment to do a difficult and dangerous job that we ask them to go out and do every day. And, you know, tens of thousands of times each year, we respond to these critical situations where persons are suffering emotional disturbance, and many times when they're also armed and potentially dangerous to themselves, to other citizens, and to the police that are responding. I have an obligation every single day to provide the citizens of Toronto with a safe environment and my officers with a safe environment when they're doing their job. And so this is important work. And I see this as perhaps my most significant responsibility. And as I said on July 29th, this is our highest priority. I have a responsibility to the citizens of Toronto, to the team family, and to my officers that this is done thoroughly, and this is done objectively, and that we do our best job possible to identify the best way to get this very difficult work done. And we were prepared to learn from the experience of others, and I am prepared to make changes in response to recommendations that may come forward. I can't prejudge what may come forward, but if recommendations are made which will enable us to provide a better, safer response for all of our citizens, then we'll certainly do everything we can to implement those recommendations and to make those improvements. I'm sorry?
What kind of timeline are you expecting?
Well, I've had some discussion with the retired Associate Chief Justice on timelines, and I think there's a certain urgency to this. And we've talked about having this done as quickly as possible and hopefully by the end of this year, because there is a certain urgency to this matter, because we continue every day to respond to these situations. But I also don't want to place any unnecessary or unfair limits on the work of the Chief Justice, because I think it's so important. So we'll work together to determine what processes he'll have to undertake to go through it. But I've made a commitment to him that he will have the resources of the Toronto Police Service at his disposal to assist him in this review.